In this episode, we are talking with Elina Furman. Elina is a certified infant massage instructor with over 15 years in the baby products industry. She's deeply passionate about spreading awareness about the importance of infant and child massage and earned her infant massage certification after talking to many parents who are confused and bewildered about how to perform baby massage. As a baby massage expert, she has conducted education for such brands as Love Every, Legendary Milk, Mama Glow Dual Education, Finn and Emma, Goo Goo Guru, among many others, and has been featured in Fast Company, The Mirror UK, Yahoo, Guardian, The Sun, New York News Press. I was like reading through these and like, man, I had no idea because I follow you from Instagram. So that's like where I'm the most familiar, but you have a huge account on Instagram now. You're all over on TikTok. I found you because I had my daughter, Eliana, and we were dealing with some gas in the beginning. And man, that is challenging. There's nothing you can do. You know, they're digesting that breast milk so quickly. You can't really, everyone's like, change your diet. I'm like, it's really usually not your diet. It's usually much more of just the baby's developing digestive system. So that's when I found your Instagram and all those cool little videos you have. So I'm just so happy to have you here and dig more into infant massage.
Oh, I'm so excited to be here because I'm just fascinated by everything you do. And as a new mom with a baby, it's gas central. So
And teething. We were just talking about teething before we hit record, and I'm like, oh man, we got to see. Yeah. And one thing you had said before we started recording was what you did like previously, because we were talking about, you know, being a new mom and how hard it is like working from home with kids and a baby. You were an author. So that's what you did before you got into the baby space?
Yeah. So since I graduated college, I really never liked going into an office. I had a few office jobs. So I just decided I'm going to publish my first book. And I sent a letter to all these publishers and I wrote the Everything After College book and someone bought it and I was so excited. The publisher liked it. And then I wrote 20 books since and I was just able to be at home, but that was before the kids. And when I did have my first baby, I started doing my own publishing baby product company where I would review baby products and so on a website. And that's how I got into the baby space because I was only about babies at that time. And that's all my brain was able to process.
Yeah, I could definitely relate to that. I feel like I'm in just like baby land right now.
Yeah.
And so with you, did you get into infant massage with your own children?
So that was why. So after I launched I actually had a few companies and where I was doing some other things for kids. But then I became a marketer for the baby space, and I was working with brands like DocaTot. I launched them in the US, and then some other brands like Binksy Baby, which is you had to get a Binksy Baby for your shopping cart. It's like they can lie in the shopping cart, and it's a wonderful product. And all these different brands that were super innovative. And but I never knew about baby massage when my kids were little. And when I decided that it was time for me to start thinking about the next stage of my career, and I wanted to do a product and I wanted to do something around maternal wellness and fetal wellness and really create a product that would, never wanted to just create another stroller or another. It was just like I spent so much time looking at all the baby products out there. I wanted to create something that was going to help really with especially the mother shock that I went through and the postpartum that I went through. And my first son had colic, and I wished I had those skills, baby massage skills, when he was little. Because I wonder, would that time have been easier for us? Would he have anxiety today? Because he's 14 and he has anxiety. So I was just really upset that nobody had taught me about baby massage. I became a certified infant massage instructor and started talking to parents, and they were so confused and about what to do and why and how and when. And so I wanted to create a tool that would allow them to just do it easily. And it would serve as a reminder, because we can get into the baby massage benefits, but the baby massage, it's cumulative in that the more you do baby massage, the more benefits you get over time.
Mm-hmm.
It's not like a one time you do a baby massage and baby's never going to,
Yeah.
be colicky or gassy again. It's really creating a practice that
Yeah.
allows you to bond with your baby and learn about your baby in a way that maybe a lot of parents don't have time for anymore, because we're so distracted too. So
Mm-hmm.
that was a huge thing, because I was working at home and we talked about how hard that is. And I was always rushing them to their nap, and like I'm
I
like,
know.
hey, it's time for your nap, your wake window's over, okay, I have to work. And I remember being so frustrated, because I just never took that really concentrated time to experience those moments sometimes where I could just focus on them for like 20 minutes, and that was just our special time together.
Yeah, I feel like that's why I love breastfeeding. And I thought about, I have a nanny now that helps me a few days a week. And I thought about doing bottles with my daughter. And I was like, you know what? I don't want to. I think that I will feel happier and she'll be happier if I can just take those breaks in my workday on the days that the nanny's here and spend that time with her. Cause that's like a huge part of the bonding, which usually leads to massage because
Yeah.
sometimes, she gets gassy and stuff. But I mostly do the massage around bedtime naps because it calms her down, and then bath. We don't
Yeah.
do baths just because she's still so little, but she does she doesn't love the bath yet, so the massage is nice because it gets her to like chill out a little bit and not be so hyper aware of everything that's going on around her. But yeah, I love that. That's interesting that's how it all kind of like came about. And that's hard. It's hard that you discovered this after your kids were already older.
Yeah, because I mean, even we just mentioned bonding, and nursing definitely was like a great. Obviously, it's like skin to skin, and you're
Yeah.
getting that direct contact and making eye contact. But I also felt like I never like played with babies before I had babies. I never carried or touched, or held a baby. So for me to have someone send the baby home with me from the hospital, I was like, what am I supposed to do now? And my handling skills and a sense of competency just
Yeah.
wasn't there. So I feel like with the Kahlmi and baby massage in general, it's really teaching you to how to what your baby likes, what they don't like baby doesn't like this, and baby only likes the feet massaged,
Yeah.
and you learn about each other constantly, and baby's always changing. So it really gives you that opportunity to just stop and like listen and learn, and because it's all about watching for their cues and seeing like, oh, does the baby like this, does the baby like
Yeah.
that. So it's just another opportunity, because also being at home with babies all day, you kind of get like a little bored, like because you're like, oh, we already did all our activities and it's only
Yeah.
10 a.m. in the morning. What are we going to do now? And it's like, you're super busy, but you don't have that really quality interactive time so much, because there's not that much they can do yet when they're super little.
Yeah, and we kind of, my husband and I are really using like a Montessori foundation for Eliana and trying to like let her explore, but also like there's a lot of watching them and
Yeah.
just viewing and seeing how she's responding to different things, how to know when she's done with an activity or a toy. And it goes right hand in hand with the infant massage that we do. And just like taking that time to like, talk to her, look in her eyes, like be right really close to each other, not like distracted doing other things. And I know a lot of people that listen to the podcast are very into that as well. So I feel like this would go like very well because it is like you're trying to learn their cues. And that's
Yeah.
all I feel like you do in the beginning is just like watch them and try to figure out like, what do you need? Like, what do you need right
What does
now?
this mean? Like,
Yeah.
yeah, I just did an article for where about the 5 baby cries, where
Yeah.
distinguish between but usually, and it just makes you pause, because when babies are crying or anything, you just get so wired
Yeah.
up right away. So it just makes you pause and realize it's a normal way of they communicate with us, that they
Yeah.
need something. Yeah.
I love that. So talk about the research a little bit, because I was honestly surprised that there wasn't any research on this, like the infant massage and like the benefits, but there's like quite a bit of for like both baby and the parents.
Oh yeah, it's something that obviously we would love to get more research behind, but there's been a lot of research since the year 2000 and more every day. And so some of the research, especially with NICU babies, is really, really exciting because what happens is it's hard to for a lot of researchers to research babies because then you have to leave the hospital and then it's self-reporting. So with NICU babies, you can really see the results and do all the studies through that. So Tiffany Fields is a researcher and she works at the Touch Research Institute in Miami. And she found that babies who were massaged regularly, especially, preemies, grew faster and would discharge from the hospital much
Wow.
sooner. And they've since replicated those studies. The BBC just came up with a big report that there was a study done where babies who were massaged, literally the mortality rate just drops so much, especially when you're talking about, communities and environments where they don't have the latest medical equipment and so on. So baby massage in those countries has obviously has always been a huge practice, especially India and China, where they generated originally. But there's weight gain. There's also cognitive and brain development. So they did some studies with babies where they read to babies. For about 15 minutes before putting them to bed. And then they also did massage so they compared the two
Mm-hmm.
groups. And they found that the massage group was actually it was a preschoolers. They did a massage. So baby massage is not just baby massage; it's
Yeah.
obviously children and teens. And my young, 14-year-old loves being massaged because it really is that sensory input he needs for his anxiety. But kids who are massaged just are much more focused. They're able to monitor their emotional states more so they can then attend to the story that they were telling them, and their focus and concentration was so significantly higher than the kids who were just read to. So
That's interesting, because they're always like drill into your head, whether it's a baby's or a child, to like read to them before bed.
yeah, yeah. And I mean, obviously, that's all great. It's all important because it's part of the, bedtime routine that gives them those cues and associations for sleep. Because if you have a good bedtime routine and you read and you do bath and you do baby massage and you nurse or feed baby, they know it's time to go to
Mm-hmm.
bed. And that repetition really primes them. We always, like, I remember, now they're older, so it's obviously very different. But I remember every single day we would read. But I wish I'd known about baby massage.
Yeah.
And then there was another study that found that babies make eye contact 50% more often and smile more and make sounds more who were massaged. Than babies who aren't massaged. So they're much more, so the social, neural, emotional component of how they develop is definitely accelerated when you're massaging baby regularly.
Okay, that is so interesting, because I recently traveled with my daughter. So I've massaged her since the beginning, because I met you like right before I had her, I think.
Yes.
Um,
You
and
were just,
then, yeah, we had like just connected. And then I was like, oh my gosh, I saved like all these videos on your Instagram. And I feel like I still look stuff up, because it's like, there's certain like steps that I know work really well for Eliana. So I do those. But then sometimes I'm like, I should go back and look at the other ones. So if you don't follow Elina on Instagram, is it at Get Kahlmi?
yeah.
Yeah, follow her, because it's like every single day there's a new video. It's ridiculous. I'm like, how does she make all this content? It's really just helpful though. So I've done it since she was born though, and we did a ton of skin to skin. I mean, that we did like basically 7 days straight, she was either on me or my husband. Really, it was like the first month, which was amazing. But we did a lot of massage because we were dealing with gas and she was waking up at night in the early stages. And so even though we hadn't really built in a routine for massage, she was still getting massaged every day because it was honestly the only thing that helped. I traveled with her, and so we flew all by myself. My husband's deployed right now, and she loved it. I like couldn't believe it. She was like talking to everyone at the airport and was so like chatty and friendly. I was like, is this normal? My mom was like, that's not normal for her age. And it's just like was interesting to hear you say that, because she does. She smiles at everyone. She like talks to everyone, and she's always been that way.
It's this, like, you have to be securely attached in order to really explore the world around you, because it's like that. In order to separate, you have to be really attached, and
Yeah.
that's why, with separation anxiety, when they become preschoolers and so on, the more time you spend like just skin to skin and massaging, and that you really invested in that time, and it just lays the foundation for their whole future, because you see babies who are deprived of touch, whether it's in they're orphan in adoption agencies, and these babies have not been touched. They haven't been, their name
Mm-hmm.
hasn't been used. No one's talking to them because, and you see how they literally, their brain scans show like such different activity in relation to outside stimuli. It's amazing, and it's hard to imagine that it's really as simple as doing, and massages should be simple, because that's the thing, people
Yeah.
think it's so complicated, but it's, you touch your baby in a million ways every single day. It's just a little more intentional with massage, but it's something anyone can pick up in like a minute or two just by watching some videos.
Yeah, and that's literally what we did. Like, I didn't take a course, we didn't do anything like that. I just watched the Instagram videos. I have your baby massager, the Kahlmi, and that comes with like a little insert. So that was very helpful, by the way. Um,
Great.
that I was like, ooh, because I mean, in my mind, we had really just been doing for gas, really just gas. She was never constipated, but I know a lot of babies deal with that.
Wow.
But when I looked at that, I was like, oh, there's like a million things you can use infant massage for. And one thing that you say that I don't want to forget to mention that I love, this was on your website, is baby massage is the bridge between love and science. And I think it's just that little bit of intention that you use with it. And like you said, this can apply to kids, because I know a lot of people are going to listen to this and be like, my baby's not a baby anymore. Like, can I still do all this stuff? But it seems like you absolutely can.
Well, that's the question I get the most. Well, I get two questions. I get, when can I stop massaging my baby? When should I stop massaging my baby? And I'm like, well,
Never.
never. And then they ask, if is it too late for me to start if I didn't start when they were little? And it's like, absolutely not.
Yeah.
It's You can start when they're 10. I mean, is it ideal to start when they're first born? And yes, but it's the benefits for children. And we obviously are in an anxiety epidemic with young kids. They're dealing with so much school issues and pandemic and school shootings, and then just social media
Hmm.
onslaught. So they need to disconnect as much as anyone and really connect with you. So anything you can do to foster touch, foster that kind of communication with them through physical touch is so important, and has so many benefits that go beyond just gas or pain mitigation or any of those things.
Yeah, I love that you mentioned that. And one of the things I know that we were going to talk about was like how to actually do the massage for. I feel like gas and constipation are the things that I talk to other moms about the
That's
most.
the biggest, yeah.
Yeah. And the thing that surprised me the most, you have like a few videos, and it's like you start with like the abdomen and all that kind of stuff. But the foot reflexology and how effective that is, I mean, it literally works every time. Can you talk a little bit about foot reflexology?
Yeah. So it's amazing because when I started doing this. I even do it now on my old, they're older, and it always works. And I did a video on TikTok, and I think it went to like 11 million, and then all these newspapers started calling me and being like, "You're the viral foot massage mom," and it could, because everybody was writing in and saying, "This, my baby hasn't pooped in literally 6 days."
Oh my goodness.
Because a lot of times babies get constipated, and really, whether they're breastfed or formula, they get constipated, and it can be days where you're waiting and baby's uncomfortable, you're miserable. So they would write in and say the minute they did the foot massage, like maybe like 20 minutes later or 10 minutes later, baby immediately went.
Yeah.
And so foot reflexology, obviously, reflexology is a very ancient therapy where you activate energy points in the body that are connected to organs. So when you're doing foot reflexology, and you're whether you're rubbing up or down or across, I mean, really just getting those areas, it's connected to your upper abdomen and lower abdomen, and there's that middle point that is the solar plexus, where you can make small circles with your thumb. But even if you don't watch the video, just literally getting your thumbs together, and getting whether it's your Kahlmi or your hands, and starting massaging your baby. Like there's no adverse reactions that you're going to get to massaging your baby's feet. The most that can happen is people say, "Oh, my baby's ticklish," and they won't let me massage their feet. But then, I say just use a firmer touch, because sometimes when you're too light in your approach, it actually does tickle.
Yeah.
So it's okay to go a little firmer with baby. Obviously, you don't want to hurt baby, and make sure they're not crying or resisting too much. But it's so important to just do this, even if your baby's not constipated, just to keep their immature digestion. Because again, my son had colic, and I always wondered, like, is it his digestion? Is it just GI issues? Is it acid reflux? Like, I had no idea. For like 6 months, it was like I was going crazy. And like, I'm like, I wish I had known about these techniques and how to massage him, because I felt so incompetent, and I felt so impotent. Like I couldn't help him. And it was just the worst feeling as a new mom, because you feel like you're doing it all wrong.
Yeah.
And your baby's broken, You're like, my baby's broken. Like I need a new one. Yeah.
Not like it's not working. Yeah. Nothing I'm doing is working. Yeah. It's the worst feeling ever when you can't help them when they're upset too.
And you try everything. You try changing your diet, and it's like, that didn't help.
Yeah. But I think that's like the big thing. It's like they're going to have gas, like that's like that was the one thing I was like, I think you just have to accept that in the beginning. And that's why if you know tools like doing the little circles and the solar plexus, because it's just really neat. Like, there you have like one on your Instagram. It's like the heads and the teeth are on the big toe. The lungs are like the upper part of the foot. The solar plexus is like right below in the middle, upper abdomen, lower abdomen, and then pelvis, which I always do like the solar plexus and then her heel. And that like really helps for gas.
Yeah. Helps so much. So yeah, that chart really just gives you a visual of how to eat. You can do this at home. And again, it's just applying pressure and holding it, or using a stroke. And just doing it every day, because their systems are so immature. They're just, they were just born. Nothing is operating at optimal levels yet. Their circulation, their immunity, all of this helps so much. I mean, I don't know if Eliana has been, she gets lots of colds or anything, but I know that a lot of parents who massage report that their babies are much stronger immunity.
She's never had like a cold or anything. She does get a little congested sometimes, but I think that's more just like my immune system passing on to her, probably not like with allergies and stuff. I've never had allergies until we moved to North Carolina. Now I'm like, oh my gosh, this is awful here. But everything around us is like pine. So I'm guessing that's probably why. But I do think when people hear reflexology, they think, oh, I don't know how to do that. But it's very similar to massage. It's just like you're focusing on the points, basically.
Yeah. Yeah, you're focusing on points, and even if you're just using your thumbs and you're not, they say to hold, there's points in your ears for teething, and there's point for fever, for sleep. There's like all these different areas in baby's neck and our necks that allow us to relax. And so just picking up, I mean, at some point I feel like I'm going to do like a really good reflexology chart, just to
Yeah.
help people, and include that they can always have it, so they can always, naturally, because it's all about finding natural solutions. And it's, and yes, this is like the Kahlmi is it's kind of a techie product, but it's really bringing an ancient practice that's been handed down for centuries, to the Western world, and making us aware that just because we don't, it's not a huge thing here. I mean, baby wearing wasn't a huge thing until 20 years ago,
Yeah.
when Ergo Baby made their first carrier, and that was obviously a huge practice, in other cultures.
That's so interesting. Eliana's never been in a stroller yet because I just wear her everywhere. I'm like, I don't know how she would do in a stroller.
Yes.
And when I was traveling, I'm like, I don't want to lug a stroller around.
Yeah.
But the wearing is honestly just like easier to me. It isn't. I was talking to my mom about like when I first had her. She's like, everything's different now, like from when I had me and my sisters. And she's like, it's just crazy how like things change. Like the co-sleeping. Like I went to a wedding in New York when I was traveling, and so I put Eliana to sleep and my mom just laid next to her. And I was like, yeah, just sleep with her until I get back. And she was like a little sad when I got back because she's like, I never did that with you guys. Like, we are always told that you can kill your baby if you sleep with, I mean, that's kind of still the message now.
Well,
But
it's still the message now.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. But at least co-sleeping in like the alternative health space is like considered normal for most people. But yeah, and she was like really sad after, and I was like, well, you can sleep with her whenever you want, like it like hurt my heart a little bit that it's like certain things like baby massage and like co-sleeping and breastfeeding, and sometimes obviously breastfeeding doesn't work out for many reasons, but like practices like that, they're not there where moms don't have enough support in implementing them. I feel like in
Or
all
education.
areas.
Or
Yeah.
education. I mean, even with co-sleeping, it's such a controversial topic in, mainstream culture, because they always warn, doctors will just make blanket, warnings, because there's a lot of people that don't know the rules, the safe ways to do it. And so, but what happens is all these other families, who want to do it or who could have done it safely, don't get to enjoy the benefits, which is super sad.
And what I was like listening to a podcast and they were talking about an interesting study about co-sleeping, and I don't think it was in the US. I think it was probably just like all over or in another country where it's like more widely accepted. So I'm like, why would they do a study on that in the US? But they were talking about how like some moms had instruction on co-sleeping, some moms didn't. And they just, all of the moms, even though that didn't have instruction, naturally formed a C shape around their baby and did it
Mhm.
correctly.
Oh,
So,
wow.
which I was like, I mean, I didn't like look at any co-sleeping stuff. I just was like, I know I'm going to co-sleep and like we'll figure it out. Um, and that's what my body did, because I was like, yes, there's rules for everything, but there's also a lot of rules for breastfeeding that like made it harder for us to breastfeed. So I was like, I'm like throwing all those things out, and I'm just gonna see like what do my instincts tell me. um,
Yes.
and that, so like that really helped. But yeah, it's hard. It's like all that stuff is just, you're not really supported. People look at you like you're crazy.
Mhm.
I showed my mom how to do massage in Eliana in case she woke up with gas, because I was like, oh, if this happens, then there's
Right.
just nothing you can do to calm her down.
Yeah.
So, and she was like, oh, that's so neat, like I had no idea. Like, I wish I knew that with you girls. But it's something, that's why I love what you do. And I'm like, whether you get the massage tool and we can, if you want to show them that now or not, like you can do infant massage.
Yeah, and that's the thing. I never wanted to, one, tell people that they need the Kahlmi to do massage, because you don't. You can,
Yeah.
you can start. You have two hands. It's free. It's completely natural. What the Kahlmi does is because it vibrates with three settings, gentle settings. It allows you to pick and choose the vibration that is most comfortable for your baby. And it allows you to be reminded every day, because it's something that you display. Also can be used as a lactation massager. So I don't know if you
Yes.
tried that. Yeah. So, you with let down, and you could warm your breast and then massage. So there's more let down. You could massage baby while you're nursing, so they can I've seen a lot of lactation consultants use it for that, because it allows baby to relax more and they're able to latch better. So it's really interesting how there's all these different applications now that people are writing to me and saying that parents who maybe don't have full use of their hands, maybe they have some special needs, also can now massage their babies in a way that they couldn't before. So there's so many different, but it's obviously also vibrating. So we were talking about teething,
Yeah.
and so this can be used. The first thing a lot of babies do, especially older babies, just put it in their mouth, because that vibration, to give it to them, to let them hold it, it's soothing automatically. It's just that input that they need, and then putting it on their gums and their face really helps massage their jaw and their gums. And finally, it's great for travel in case they're having a meltdown, because it's kind of like they're
Yeah.
all in one soothing tool. So it's not going to be, I would never say you need to get a Calmie to massage, but it's really becomes like a multifunctional product. And because we have the three heads, you can do it in the bath. You can do it. You can do it. There's a morning massage. You can use the touch head with. So it just creates this just practice, because it's all about setting an intention and following through. And I find that with babies and being moms and having a million things we need to do, it's hard to always, I'm going to massage baby today and the next day, and always find that time. And also it's good for dads, because dads don't have as much opportunity for that
Yeah.
bonding unless they're wearing baby or feeding baby, but they can't nurse them. So massage is just a great tool for dads to feel like they're really helping out, and being able to connect with their child at such an early age, whether it's, I mean, yes, you can wear your baby. And I love those wearing shirts. I don't know if you've
Yeah.
seen, yeah, where you can actually put them in your shirt. But baby massage is just another opportunity to communicate with your baby your love, your intention, your support. I always advise people to try to sing, to name the body parts
Hmm.
while you're doing it, so it becomes also an opportunity for them to acquire those language skills and early literacy, and proprioception, becoming aware, because babies aren't born being aware of their body parts. So
Yeah.
they don't know that they have a foot, or like they have to find their thumb, right? Like it's all so confusing for them. So by labeling all their parts, you're kind of, and showing them how, and stimulating those parts, you're making them aware of those body parts.
I love that. And it's fun too, like if you go through the different stages, like if you're following along with different apps and stuff that tell you like, oh, baby's starting to realize what their hands are now. It's like just fun to have something to do to like support that, because it's like, okay, they could actually understand this a little bit now. So it makes more sense for me to do it. Like Eliana will just hold her arm up and like stare at her hand. It's it's so funny. I'm like, that's your hand, girlfriend. Like, what are you doing?
Yeah,
But
yeah,
yeah, I love that. So let's talk about teething again. So
yeah.
the way they can use it is mostly like on the outside of the mouth
Yeah, so I
too.
can even show you, like, so if you have, this is our little baby friend. So you can use the regular massage head, just comes off, or the touch. So it's really good to do the massage on the side where the jaw goes from the
Hmm.
ears to the chin. So you'll want to just, because the jaw gets super tense when they're teething, because they carry a lot of tension there. So just you'll want to make little circles and massage down all the way to their chin.
Okay.
And then again, you can use your hands and fingers just to do that. Then they'll also want to, if they're at an age where they can, it's very thin, so they can easily grab it and just stick it in their mouth, and that massages all their gums, and that vibration is just so much, stimulus right there at the point of pain, where that really helps those pain receptors. Obviously, giving them something cold is so important. We've all seen the washcloths, and that's great. So used with this, that could really be a nice solution. And then you'll want to massage the areas right above their lip. So going down, you'll want to just draw your fingers down, and you can also use the acunodes, which I call them, and that has that additional vibration. And then you can also trace a smile
Okay.
going from one cheek to the other, right on the cheek, because it's all this like gummy area right
Yeah.
around. Yeah. So as long as you're massaging that jawline, that on both sides, they will get relief over time, and they just immediately chomp down on it if they can hold it. If they're
I have
strong.
to try offering it to Eliana. I haven't yet. She just she's very used to me using it on her belly and like her head and stuff.
Yeah.
She does do it during bath time and everything, but and mostly on her feet. I swear, it's like I feel like I'm always doing the acupressure on her feet. Do you want to show what that would look like on the
Of that.
little
So
bell
the
there?
feet, and we can just do a quick. So again, that like you could take your finger and just rub across this the upper abdomen, lower abdomen, and again using like a more firm pressure. Then you can also fan the foot, just going up and down. So like you can use your Kahlmi to do that, because that really energizes a lot of those um, reflexology points that connect to those vital organs. And then this is the pelvis area. So you can just use your thumb and finger to massage there. And finally, in the middle, where you have the fleshy mound, you can just use your finger to gently make circles. And you'll want to do this, like you said, probably end up doing this a lot, because every
Yeah.
time they're stressed or upset, I used to just nurse them every time they were upset, and then I realize now, like, I should have probably tried massaging their feet, because
That
because they,
probably makes the colic worse because if they're already gassy and then you nurse them on top of it, it can
yes,
just it's like a
that's
recipe for
really why he
disaster.
was colicky.
Yeah.
Because I didn't know what else to do, so I would just
Yeah.
nurse all day, and I was like exhausted,
Yeah.
and trying to work on my computer while nursing all day.
Oh my God.
It was so much fun. So yeah, so by just learning a few of these techniques, and again, you could just learn that, like you just learned how to massage
Yeah.
your baby, and doing it maybe twice a day if they're especially constipated, and then once or twice for like 10 minutes. Just do whatever you can, because I think a
Yeah.
lot of parents put so much pressure on themselves. They're like, well, when do I do it? How do I do it? How long? I'm like, the thing about baby massage, there are no rules, because there are no rules about babies. Yes, we want to keep them safe, and there are certain guidelines and so on. But we are just so disconnected, I feel like, that from our mother. You mentioned instincts,
Mhm.
and the more sometimes there's so much information coming at us that it forces us to question our
Yeah.
basic motherly instinct, which is your biggest power. That's our superpower as women and moms. And yet we are all so stressed out and anxious, and the voice of the instinct just gets quieter and quieter. So just remember that it is just really about connecting with your baby, touching your baby in a loving way, and making eye contact with them. And those are things that you do already. So there's nothing you're behind on. If you want to massage them in the morning, or if they're crying this minute, like, and they don't like the massage, because a lot of times people also ask me, my baby hates massage. I'm like, okay, like that's the biggest thing. My baby hates massage. But I'm like, well, maybe they hated it that minute, or maybe they were crying, and maybe that wasn't the time that was best for them. And again, you can try it in the morning, you try it at night, you could try it 5 minutes later. And it's really just paying attention to your baby and keeping, and it's so important to keep on trying the baby massage, because a lot of babies are also very touch sensitive because they're maybe not touched as often, or they have sensory issues, which so many people do these days.
Mm-hmm.
So they need to get used to that kind of, it's a form of therapy. So just because they didn't like it today doesn't mean they won't like it tomorrow. And the more you do it, like in a week, if you just give yourself like a week to do it every day, and try out different things with your baby, it's all trial and error. Every baby will end up liking massage because, we love
Yeah.
massage. And
It took a while. Like even for, I did it from birth, and it just took her a little while to get used to certain things, especially like anything on her head she did not love at first. Like that was like a huge adjustment, but that like really helps her relax. And that is one thing where it's like you can use it for sleep, which I'm like, what new mom doesn't want a little help with getting their baby to sleep? What are the best ways that they can use it if they feel like their baby's struggling?
so sleep obviously is like the number one with gas. Those are the two things because, and we're so exhausted as parents, as new parents. And so when, they found that babies slept longer and deeper when they received a nightly massage. But I also think it could be daily. So whether you could do it in the afternoon before the nap or at night, great, whenever you can get it in. So there are, just doing a daily massage where you're doing the full body massage, just, you can just lay them down, or if they don't like lying down, you can put them on a wedge, or you can even do it sitting up. Or with very small babies, you can lay them on your chest, and that gives you additional tummy time and massage. So you can massage their back while you're doing that. But for sleep specifically, I find that massaging their eyebrows, going from the middle to the when they're really small, really
Mm-hmm.
calms them down, and it just begins to just relax them. And this is a very light touch, but not too light that it's ticklish. And then rubbing down from the forehead to the nose, that really, really helps. You can also use your Kahlmi to do any of these massages, and the vibration just really helps them relax. And they just, because I really feel it's one, they have, they're releasing those feel good chemicals that allow them to then fall into deeper sleep. But so that there's a science behind it, obviously, that allows them, there's a release of oxytocin in both the baby and the mom, actually. So when you're doing massage, and then it lowers their cortisol levels. So that is their stress anxiety level, because, and then when they get separated from you and they wake up, they're stressed, or they're upset. So if you're just doing this kind of work every single day during the day, over time they are going to be much better sleepers. They're going to be much more securely attached to you, and that all leads to better sleep in the long term as well.
Yeah, it's like very easy, but that eyebrow area, it's magic. Like if she won't calm down or fall asleep when she's nursing and she's like really hyped and I'm like, you need a nap, you're overtired. It's like, I just, while she's nursing, I'll like rub her eyebrows.
Yeah.
1 second, I can like hear her crying for the last
Yeah.
like 20 minutes. Okay.
Hi.
Oh, a little burp. Does that make you feel better?
Oh, there you go. It did sound like she had the air sound when she was crying, which was like gas in the upper respiratory. Yeah.
Yeah. We'll do a little massagey after, huh?
Yeah. Hi.
Look who it is, honey.
It's Elina and Eliana
Wow. Yeah,
together.
she's like good at like seeing people because we'll FaceTime with my husband and she like sees him and stuff.
Like
It's so
so
funny.
intense. Yes.
Huh, honey?
Hey.
Um, yeah, I was like trying to let the nanny handle it, but I'm like, I just can't. I can't do
Yeah.
it.
When you hear them crying, it's like
It was
it's.
like 20 minutes. I'm like, okay, if she's not stopping now, she's probably not gonna stop until
Oh my gosh! It was
I
for
don't
20
know.
minutes. You must have been so stressed. It just that's
It was like
stress.
on and off. It was like she would cry and then it would stop, but then I'm like, you know what? I just don't like it. Oh, they're
She
okay.
wants to be with her mommy.
Which I love to. I want to be with you
Yeah.
too, honey. Um, but we're almost done if you don't mind. If you
Yeah.
don't mind if she's here.
I, I
Okay.
we do this.
Okay. So I feel like we've talked so much about like you did some demos, we showed the Call Me, the actual tool. and just like the benefits and stuff. And you kind of went through, because I just want people to like you talked about like tips for any time of day. If someone were like, what are some tips for me to actually build a routine, what would you
Yes.
say?
Yeah. So it could be building a routine is as easy as, like, oh, you eventually figure out that baby likes to be massaged in the morning when they wake up after you nurse. So the most important thing is, making sure you figure out a time that your baby likes. There's no perfect time. And nighttime is a great time for everyone. So I always say just start maybe with a nighttime routine, and you can set quiet, nice music on. You can dim the lights of the room. You can do it in the bathroom on a wedge or on a boppy. And it really is about doing it any time of day. And also when you're carrying baby as you are, or you're lying down with baby on your chest when they're super small, that's a great way to start from infancy, because you don't have to lay them down on a mat or do anything. But as they get older, you can start doing those kinds of routines so they know. And it's very important to always ask them for permission. So people think I'm crazy, and how do you ask baby for permission? And I always say start with taking deep breaths, 3 deep breaths for yourself, so you can calm yourself, because baby really picks up on your energy. So if you're trying to massage baby and you're anxious about it, or you've had a really hard day, just try to calm yourself, take some grounding breaths, and then ask baby, would you like a massage? And maybe put your hands together, and baby begins to know that this is maybe like a sign for massage. And they will smile, or they will wiggle around, and that's a positive cue for yes, you
Mhm.
can massage. If they're turning away and they're tensing up their muscles or crying, you might want to wait and do the massage at another time. So all those kinds of, and it also sets up by asking permission. It sets up that early consent, understanding of consent, that no one is allowed to touch my body unless they ask me permission. So it just pays respect to your baby. And it shows them that they are worthy of consent, and it's important for them to agree to being touched.
And I think too, like that's one thing I'm so lucky with the midwife and birth team that I chose. They were very adamant about that. Like even during pregnancy, they would say, like Eliana, I knew her name. We picked her name very early on. So they would like ask if they could feel my belly, but they would ask her, which I thought was really cool. And
Amazing.
that really instilled in me that like to not just to slow down. Right? Like it's so easy as a mom to be like going a million miles an hour, like changing their diaper super fast and like feeding them, burping them, and trying to get to the next thing, trying to get them down for a nap so you could record a podcast or do a meeting or something like that, or get something for work done, or clean your house, maybe do a load of laundry. Like, and I get it. It's like, I feel like it's so easy to go and be like running off stress hormones, but it is so much better. Like, she's happier. I'm happier when we just slow down. And I think that's one of those things that I really like about like incorporating massage, even talking to her, asking permission. Like when I do like her diaper change, I tell her what I'm doing, which sounds silly, but like it's good for their language skills. It's good for like so many things. And then she
Yes.
can start to like recognize that stuff. But I love that you brought that up for massage. I think it's very important. Oh, honey,
There you go.
can you
She
wrap
likes
it
it
up?
too. She likes it too. And it is about taking those slow moments, and any opportunity you have to slow down and really be with your baby and connect with them. And we're
Mhm.
so stressed out, and mothers have so much anxiety postpartum, that it's also good for you. It's really that's why I also love products that do double duty, because I feel like there's few products that are as good for the parent as they are for the baby.
Yes.
um, and this is one of those practices that is going to pay dividends to you and your baby, because you are taking the time to honor yourself and slow down and it's almost like a meditative practice that is good for, because everyone's always like, I had postpartum anxiety, and they would say, oh, go do some yoga, but it was separate from my baby. And so and now I know that if I had taken that time to just center myself and ground myself, I would have had that benefits of that meditative practice, and baby would have had the same benefits of that connection and all those other physical touch benefits.
Yeah, because it's like you said, everyone gets the oxytocin. So I mean, that's one thing. Like my husband did a lot of skin to skin with her because I'm like, first 2 weeks, I'm like so high on hormones. I was so happy, like nothing could have like brought me down. I felt but he was like, he was tired and he was stressed, and I was like, just so they did a lot of tummy time, and that really helped. He would massage her. I know, honey,
Yeah.
but yeah, there's just, I mean, I just have seen so many benefits with it. So I was like, I have to have Elina on here to talk about
Oh,
this. And I just appreciate it so much. And I just encourage everyone, like, even if you don't get the Kahlmi, you don't have to get it, but put it on your registry. Number one, put it on
yeah.
your registry. Those are little things that like people think are a luxury and that you shouldn't put on your registry, or it's like, I don't know. People feel weird about putting breastfeeding stuff on there. I'm like, you just got to put everything on your registry that you really need. And if you think that you could benefit from this, or if you had a baby that was super colicky or gassy, put it on for the next one. But even just following your Instagram like really helped me. And
Oh,
Eliana, huh, honey, you
so
love the
happy.
massages.
She seems like a very happy baby. I know you're happy. She just wants to travel. She wants to see the
She wants
world.
to travel the world. I swear. I was like,
Yeah,
she was never happier than when we were traveling.
the vagabond.
But I'm gonna go probably
Oh, thank you so much. It
feed
was
her and massage
wonderful.
her and put her down to nap.
Yeah.
But I really appreciate it. I love talking with you. I love everything you do. Um,
So much
yeah.
for having me. And she's a beautiful baby and you wonderful mom.